Good morning, everybody. This is JD. Today I'm going to talk to you about two things. One, and both of them are tying together. One is about physical responsibility. The Republicans have no idea. And I'm going to say that out loud and I'll say it again. The Republicans have no idea what physical responsibility is. Do you want me to repeat that again? Listen to me. Republicans have no idea what physical responsibility is. Why do I say that? Also, the Republican Party does not put the American people first. I'm going to repeat that. The Republican Party does not put the American people first. Why do I say that? Greece and the United States. I'll use that as an example. Again, Greece and the United States. Congress, both the House and Senate, had approved $9 billion for Greece emergency fund. Yes, $9 billion. But $1.3 billion to extend unemployment that's run out for a lot of people. Well, we got to be physically responsible now. Well, what is physically responsible? Let me give you an example. It's coming up to winter time. You have a furnace heating system that is old, has problems with it, and needs to be replaced. You could patchwork it together or replace it. It really needs to be replaced. Which is physically responsible? The person who patchworks it together, and then during the winter it explodes and burns the house down. Or the person who spends the money needed to fix it, even if they have to get a loan. And then at the end of the winter, they still have their house. Now you might say that don't happen. No, every year in the news you hear about the people who patchwork it together, burning their house down. But they were physically responsible. Whereas the truth is, you had to go out and get a loan to repair that furnace. Somebody else comes up to you and says, hey, your house could use vinyl siding instead of you having to paint it every year, or 2 years, 5 years. So you get a bigger loan to add vinyl siding to it. Now you're becoming irresponsible. That's where physical responsibility comes in. Physical responsibility is realizing you must do a loan for yourself, but you don't need the vinyl siding. Now, how did that compare? Simple. The American people and their unemployment is that patchwork furnace. The vinyl siding is the $9 billion you use for Greece. Yes, Republicans, it's apparent to you that the American people don't come first. The Greeks do. I have no problem aiding nations, but understand, as president, it's going to be the American people first and foremost. These party systems. And the reason they're saying no is not because it needs to be done, because the Democrats suggest it. It needs to end. This party system crap needs to end. If the Republicans were halfway even smart, they would have said, we're going along with this $1.3 billion extension of unemployment because the American people come first. Now really, do we really need to do this? Well, be honest with you, look at our economy. By all facts, we should be in a major depression right now. You get to call it a recession. Why? Because of two things. People's Social Security, you're heading for. Now, what should we do as Americans? Now, coming up is the national election for congressmen and senators. People, I recommend that you start looking at independents first. Notice I said looking. Look at the independent candidate. Look at what they're going to represent. Because you see, an independent doesn't have a political party behind them. I mean, look what the Democrats are going to be doing this year, spending billions of dollars, millions and millions, to boost their candidates. And the Republicans are going to do the same thing. But who's going to help the independent? Neither political party. So, you, the American people, you have to decide. Like here, we have Glenn Nile. He's an independent running for Congress. I'll mention him because he's an independent. He wants to put your voice first, and he wants to put a block to this political party nightmare we are experiencing. We have been experiencing for a while, which has done more damage to our country than anything else. Neither the Republicans nor the Democrats have the right to claim the other as the bad guy. Both are. So, you the people have to start looking. Now, I'm not saying don't look at a Republican candidate. Don't look at a Democrat candidate. But notice lately that Republicans vote Republican and Democrat votes Democrat. It doesn't matter what the bill is. What matters to them is how their party goes. Not what's good for the American people, not what's good for the United States of America, not what's good for our economy. We got to be physically responsible on $1.3 billion, but it's okay to be totally irresponsible on $9 billion. I don't understand it. I'd be chewing. Instead of Obama sitting around talking about things, I'd be chewing the Republicans up on this. Saying, yo, you're willing to give billions and billions to foreign nations, but the American people aren't worth it? The American people are not worth $1.3 billion. That's what the Republicans are saying. We got to be physically responsible on this. But the other thing, no. It's okay. $9 billion is great to throw away. $1.3 billion to invest into the American people, well, that's a different story. We can't afford that. Our unemployment and our Social Security has kept this country out of a depression. Yes, the government has a problem. And yes, we have to fix it. But before you do the minor repairs on an automobile, you make sure it's running. Once you got it running and progressing well, then you can do minor body work, minor interior replacing, things like that. But until that car is running, don't go out there and give it a paint job. Don't go out there and replace the seats. Come on. Unless it runs, it's not worth a thing. And same thing with our economy. Until our economy starts growing, until the people have the jobs, we need to maintain the engine of our nation. Now, I'm not a socialist and I don't believe in socialist programs. And that's the truth. But I'm also a realist, and I believe in the American people. And we need to realize they need help now. So, Republican Party, if you want to be physically responsible, quit giving other nations money for defense. Quit giving other nations money for their economy and start putting some of it back in ours. Think about that, leaders of the Republican Party. Just because the Democrats come up with something that needs to be done, you got to say no to make a stink. All it does is says the Republican Party cares more about the Republican Party than the American people. So this election, yes, look at the candidates. Look strongly at the candidates. And look for those independents. Because we're going to need more of them than you realize come 2012. You have a nice day. This is JD. And here in the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, Virginia Beach. I met him yesterday, Glenn Nile. Take a look his way. Thank you. This is JD. I didn't say vote for him. I said check him out. You see what he stands for. And the same thing for you all across the country. Look at your candidates. See what they stand for. Don't vote party system. Have a nice day. And if you can't find anything you like, then anything to block the total majority that the Democrats have so that they can't push through the Obama systems. Have a nice day. This is JD. The rest will be fixed in due time.